Hello, welcome back. It's another woodland walk courtesy of Petrolblog. Look at this. Look at this mental health wellness walk. I should say that I am joined today by Gav.
Yes.
That was your cue to say hello. Because you've bought a new car.
I have.
A really sensible, economical, practical daily.
Proper daily, isn't it?
It's a proper daily, mate.
I said, miles,
can you name 5 famous dailies? Arthur.
Tom Daly.
Good. Daily Thompson. The Daily Mail.
And the Daily Times.
What's that?
That's a newspaper.
Is it?
Daily Times.
Okay, we'll call it Daily Times. You haven't appeared on this channel since the My Sons Have Bought Lots of Cars video, words to that effect.
Wow.
And
the Sons of My Cars, I think it was called.
Sons of My Cars. And I can picture them all lined up in the field. And the worrying thing is, only 2 are left on the fleet, I think. The Proton and the Twingo.
Yeah.
And actually, one of the reasons why, the Micra was brilliant, and I am going to do a video on why the Micra was so good another time. But the reason why you've bought a new sensible, in inverted commas, daily, is because someone drove up the back of you in the Focus.
Yeah.
And do you know the sad thing is, I'm going to soften it because I think this is important, the damage was minimal.
It was.
And yet they wrote it off.
And they wrote it off. That's insurance.
That's insurance, and they're trying to get rid of good cars. Because other than that, it was a really good car, and you liked it.
I did.
It did 50 to the gallon. It drove really well. And it had the sport pack, didn't it, and everything. It was just really nice.
It was comfortable and easy to drive, but it did have a couple of problems, so
actually the insurance company did you a favour.
it did me a favour. It sort of did me a favour.
You made a profit on that.
I made 300 quid profit on it, yeah.
It's not bad.
I did.
But how does that make you feel, by the way? Seeing that in front of us.
A lot better.
I mean, look at it.
A lot better.
Look at this. Now, how did we get here? You needed a sensible daily, and you were looking, with the money from your insurance company, plus a little bit more, you were looking at diesels predominantly, hatchbacks, 5-door hatchbacks, Golf, Focus, that sort of thing, because you wanted something bigger.
I wanted Mark IV Golf at the top of my list was a video.
Mark IV Golf was top of the list, but actually, Mark IV Golf, you got the Spanish version of a Mark IV Golf.
I do.
And the reason you wanted a sensible, in inverted commas, daily, a Tom daily, is that you want to keep your Twingo nice.
Yeah.
Your Twingo is your pride and joy. But it is, you just said yourself, haven't you? Because this has been in the garage for this week.
Well, and since I got it, I haven't really driven it.
Haven't you driven it, for reasons we'll come on to in a minute. But you have found the Twingo tough going as a daily.
It is tough going as a daily. It's not a daily.
It's not a daily. As a daily, it has been tough though.
As a daily. I mean, it's put up with it, but it's not been good for.
Put up with it, yeah. So you really want to give the Twingo a break now.
Yeah.
And enjoy this. So you had a budget of 2?
Yeah, just $2,000 with a bit of leeway.
$2,000 with a bit of leeway. So you're looking for a $2,000 hatchback, Focus Golf size hatchback, which this does fit the bill. It's basically a Volkswagen Golf underneath, also a Skoda Octavia as well, but doesn't necessarily fit the sensible route.
No, it ticks all the boxes of the size and the looks of it, but it doesn't tick any of the economical
and
issues.
It's because of this Cupra 20 valve turbo. Yeah. So this is basically a Golf GTI in a Spanish suit. 1.8 turbocharged, 178 brake horsepower engine.
Yeah.
I think it does 0 to 60 in about 7.5 seconds. You think it's closer to 7?
I think 7.1.
Okay, so you're closer to 7. It's around that ballpark. And it's quick. Even by today's standards, that's quick. And of course, I'm old enough to remember when these were new. And this was a 4-star Evo car. This was well regarded in period as probably when it was beginning to find its mojo, really. There were some legendary cars after this. I think this was about 15 grand new, which again was a bargain. But I think for another couple of grand, you could have got the Cupra R.
It's $2,000 more, I think.
Yeah.
$2.5 more.
So a lot of people did that. But what's interesting, this is now 24 years old. It's getting really hard because we obviously, once you found this one, we started looking for others to compare the price, compare the condition. And it's really hard to find one that hasn't been modified.
I'm on the forum and it's just all slammed to the ground, blacked out windows and everything.
I have a slight fear that you're going to do all that.
No.
Good.
I have an idea what I want to do to it. I know what I want it to look like.
Okay, well, do you want to talk us through that now?
I want to put a little tint on the back windows. And obviously wiper delete, which will come on to why.
Well, yeah. Okay. I mean, it makes a lot of sense because it hasn't got a wiper
It's got a
blade.
wiper. I don't know why it's still on there, but so a wiper delete is the obvious thing, and it would look a lot better at the back.
A lot of people, sorry to interrupt, a lot of people darken these rear lights and they look terrible.
They look awful, yeah.
Yeah. You're not doing that,
No,
are
I'm
you?
not doing that, no.
Yeah.
A new exhaust on it,
Yeah.
and hopefully no induction kit.
Okay.
Hopefully.
So
That's sort of what I do to
sensible
it.
stuff.
It's sensible stuff, but it would also make it sort of mine.
Yeah, absolutely. Personalise it.
Yeah.
Personalise it. It's only got one mud flap at the moment,
The
but
other
you've got a
one's- the
brand
other
new
one's,
set in the boot, haven't you? So that can be
It's
ready.
got a new Cupra badge as well, because that's
Yeah, but it's not
damaged.
Yeah, but weirdly, it's from the one after, I think.
Is it aftermarket?
So I think no, it's not aftermarket. It's from the next model on. So what I might do for you is paint that black, as Mick Jagger would say. He sees red doors and he paints them black. You see Cupra badges and I paint them black.
Seems like a good deal.
It's not a good deal. Mick Jagger would like this car.
He would.
He gets lots of satisfaction from this. One of the first things you said is how much you like the alloys, and I said to you, you're not going to like washing them.
No, I don't. I washed this car, 5 times since I've had it? And the alloys are painted clean.
Yeah. There's the sort of things you dread doing.
But they do come up incredibly well.
They do come up incredibly well. I think it's fair to say it wasn't perfect when we picked it up. Nice guy we bought it from. He had it 13,
14 years, I think.
which is incredible, really. And he was I don't think he wanted to sell it.
He didn't want to sell it, no.
Yeah, it's been going to the MOT testing station and back for the past few years. So as a result, the bodywork was looking a bit tired, a bit challenged. The tyres had cracked. I think 2 of them were an advisory.
2 of them were an advisory, yeah. The other ones were awful. But
The other ones were awful. So it had mismatched tyres. Envoy got in touch to say that would we like to test a set of Aternas, which I'm going to christen Tina's. Do you know why?
No.
Tina Turner.
Tina Turner.
Tina Turner. Apparently these tyres are simply the best. Anyway, these are mid-range tyres. First impressions are really good, obviously, because you were running around on mismatched tyres with severe cracking. So they are going to be a big step forward, but they're quieter.
Yeah.
It handles a lot better now, but obviously long term, we'll need to look at things like fuel economy, which is usually going to be a problem, wear rate, and just general feel. But first impressions are good,
Yeah, very good.
and only at 45 to 50 quid a tyre,
They're very good.
which is pretty good. They do Scooby-Doo, a performance version of, Envoy do a performance tyre, but get this, the minimum size is 17 inch, and these are 16 inch. So that shows you how far the hot hatch has come. But what that has done is solved one of the big problems. It's now got a full set of tyres.
Perfect.
Big result. Other problems, talk me through the other problems it had.
Well, it had something, one with a temperature gauge.
Oh, yeah.
Something, I don't know what it was. It was like, not go, it wouldn't move, the temperature gauge, and it would just go straight up to 90 and then just drop down to 70.
Okay.
And
So-
it would just be really odd the whole time I drove it.
Which we traced to a thermostat.
Yes.
And it was.
It was,
the
it was.
thermostat. That was one of the first
That was
problems.
the first one. And that I think it would cause the warning lights to come on, the engine warning lights to come on.
Yeah, but that's now.
When that came on, I was quite worried about it.
And then the other problem, looking down here, was that.
Oh, it was. The gear linkage.
Yeah, so I actually drove it down to the garage to get the tyres, and I came back saying, I think you've got a gear linkage problem. Because it wasn't returning to neutral without pushing it. It was very difficult to go from second to third. Didn't think it was a gearbox, just thought it was a linkage. Magic Matt came over, took off the cover, confirmed it was a linkage, and that's been sorted now.
Yeah.
So that was a cheap fix. The tyres were a good fix. Thermostat was a good fix.
And the brakes were a good fix.
So it's got new brakes on the front. They were
New brakes,
they were
yeah.
really bad.
They were really bad.
So you needed-
Well, it didn't move for 2 years.
Yeah.
And you did 50 miles.
So you had a brake light come on, didn't you?
Yeah,
so,
I did.
So it needed new disc and pads. It's had an oil and filter service, and it is now running so well. And you have been out here polishing it, waxing it. Well, you haven't waxed it completely.
I've waxed it half. I haven't done the full body yet. But I have polished
That will
it.
come later.
That will come, yeah. It's just because, it's rain.
So let's have a quick look. It's a beautiful colour.
I love the colour.
So it's very typical sort of Seat Volkswagen of this era, really. Love the seats. I think the seats are fabulous.
Very comfortable.
Very, very good seats. And also, cup holder TV. An excellent cup holder as well. Not quite in the same level as Saab, but very good. I think it's in genuinely quite good condition. It's all original, it's all genuine, I think.
Yeah, after a bit of TLC, which we knew was going to need it.
Very cool. Very cool handle.
It's Volkswagen Audi group, that, isn't it?
Yeah. And a nice Leon boot tray in the boot, obviously, because that's where you tend to put
I think there's an
boot
add-on, I
trays.
think.
Yeah, I don't think that was.
Yeah.
I can't imagine a Cupra
It wasn't
owner
stock,
going into a showroom
yeah.
saying, I really, really want your hot hats, but give me a boot tray. The only weird thing is this here, it's clearly had, I would say, I reckon someone's gone into that in the
I
past.
reckon so, yeah.
So that could do with being,
It's a car park straight, that.
yeah. And also you're thinking of sending it up to Rostec to get it protected
Yeah, it
underneath.
does need protection underneath.
You've only got to look at your brother's Mark V Golf, which again was 4 years newer than this, I think. No, 7 years
Yeah,
newer
7
than
years.
this, and
So
it
this
was
was-
rusty
this
as
was
hell.
Based on the Mark IV, wasn't it? Was.
Yeah, absolutely. I think what saved this is the fact it's been in the barn,
Yes.
and it hardly been used, and just living in the barn, so there's been no salt, hasn't been used in the winter. And I think, personally, I think this is worth preserving with. I think this is worth preserving, persevering with, lavishing some money on, because I think it's a very good looking car. One of Giugiaro's best designs, I think. What a good looking car it is. Get very excited about this. So yeah, I think we've covered everything really. It's a good car, touch wood.
Yeah, well, let's hope so.
And I'm going to put it on record here to my one viewer, hello, that you'll love this car so much that the Twingo will be no longer required.
You think I sell the Twingo?
I think you're going to love this so much.
I already do love it a lot.
It does pull nicely, doesn't it?
does.
Yeah, I think we should go out for a little drive now. It's a good car, this.
Oh,
Coming to a Haynes Breakfast Club near you soon, I would have thought.
probably, actually.
Yeah, it'd be a good shout. Okay, before we get interrupted by anybody else, thank you for watching. See you soon.